Hello, this is Brad Johnson, VP of Product at Basefield, and today we'll be overviewing Event Operations. Event Operations is new to Basefield in version 10.7, and it allows a team of asset managers, performance engineers, and the remote operating center to all interact together to prioritize critical plan events and to escalate these events to cases to manage all workflow and all work orders used to resolve that issue. Event management is a critical part of Basefield and a critical part of any SCADA overlay system. After raw data is telemetrized from the site, users have to find the root cause of performance issues, whether these be alarms or derates. Users then have to create work items to resolve these issues, and that's essentially what the application is meant to do. There are two key applications for event management in Basefield. The first being the availability application, which many of you may have used already. The availability application is largely guided towards asset management and allows you to track and to recategorize outages to affect your overall availability and performance numbers. Event Operations, which is the focus of the video today, takes a more operations perspective of event management and integrates the real-time desk into this process. So what is Event Operations? Well, to put it plainly, Event Operations is a flexible, real-time application to view, filter, and interact with alarms, warnings, or other field status indicators from any SCADA system or any device. It then allows you to track and prioritize these events into work items. These events, though, don't just have to be raw telemetrized events from a SCADA system. These could be calculated events from a super user that wants to set thresholds and create custom alarms and manage them the same way that the telemetrized events are being managed. It then allows you to set up automated and manual notifications of these events so that you can inform pertinent stakeholders. These stakeholders can also subscribe to the work items so that they get automated email updates when anybody updates a case or an event that they're interested in. Finally, for large operation shops that have an external CMMS or maintenance management system, Event Operations has a plug-in tool that can be used to send and receive work order information to close the loop to attach a work order back to the root cause event that resulted in it. So now let's review the data model concepts that go into Event Operations. There are four main things that we'll be talking about today: events, allocations, cases, and work orders. The first and primary data model focus of Event Operations is the event. So what is an event in Basefield? To put it plainly, an event is a digital state representing whether a physical state or condition on an object or an asset is active or inactive. An event is typically automatically generated by the underlying telemetry or SCADA system, but it could be a manual entry as well, or a planned entry, as we'll show in the demonstrations. An event, really, from a data modeling perspective, is best understood as a unique combination of an asset or an object, a start and an end time, and a unique alarm code or description. As you can see here, let's say, for example, a turbine goes down on a 277 temperature fault. This event will be modeled as the turbine key, WF1 WTG001, the start of that event, the end of that event, and the description of it. So it's a very simple data model. Lots of different examples of what an event is for a user. It could be an inverter reaching a run status. It could be a single turbine faulting on the 277, which you see there. It could be a feeder breaker opening to shut down a string of assets or a string of turbines, or it could be a power plant controller receiving an external curtailment signal. The next data model that we'll discuss is the allocation. The allocation is the cousin to the event. While the 277 code that causes the turbine to derate or fault is the event, a forced outage is the allocation. It's the categorization of the event itself. So it's a synthetically generated concept within the Basefield system to allow you to track availability statistics. So we enforce slightly different rules for what an allocation is versus what an event is. Specifically, at any point, only one allocation must be active, while several events could be active at once. An allocation also tracks key properties within the start and end of the allocation to do automated analysis like lost energy and theoretical energy. An allocation also allows you to edit it once it's created, so you can change the categorization of the event itself. So examples of this are IEC classifications for wind or solar, or GADS classifications for wind and solar for America's customers. While the event and the allocation are legacy data model concepts that have existed in Bayes Field applications for several years, the case is a new data model concept being introduced in event operations. Cases are used to model all the workflow items, tasks, documentations, and work orders that a user has to manually create to inform the organization what is being done to address the root cause event. So pertinent examples of what a case is are an engineering RCA from one or several events that are causing performance issues on site. A safety incident occurring on site could be a case, a manually entered case by the real-time operations desk or the site manager. A scheduled maintenance is also potentially a case used to track documentation, images of the inspections which occurred. A subset of a case, or one potential work item that can be attached to the case, is the work order itself. So a work order typically is a physical representation of field service and labor being done on the asset directly by someone on site. Most of our customers use an external CMMS or maintenance management system to track this ERP level data. In event operations, Bayes Field cases can then be used to dispatch and create these work orders and then interface with them back into the system so that the user can view all their events, all their cases, and all their work orders all in one user interface. So now that we're done describing the basic data models that go into event operations, we're going to walk through some basic workflows on how you would use the tool in your day-to-day job. There are three pertinent examples which we'll go through. One for remote operators about how to acknowledge real-time alarms and access standard operating procedures around that alarm. We'll then go through a workflow that details how a performance engineer would escalate this performance alarm or a series of performance alarms into a case to inform the organization what they're doing and the studies they're doing to address those events. Finally, for asset managers, we'll introduce the concept of how you can use event operations along with some of our other applications to schedule and plan outages and to track everything related to a planned outage all in one area.